you have, 5 or so minutes. But everybody should have a copy of the agenda for tonight.
Or if you don't.
I need a couple more.
I was going to speed it up. I don't know if I can. There you go. Need another one. Okay.
Me too.
Thank you.
How are you? I'm doing good.
I need 2 more. Thanks.
Oh, that's right there.
Hey, don't take them.
Oh, all right. I'm passing them out. There's 2 right there. Yep, there's 2. I'm sorry. Somebody else wanted one? What's that? One of these? Oh, there you go. From who? Rusty or?
Did you get one of these too?
No.
That's a letter from the
Who am I giving this to?
letter from the village.
Okay.
As to what's going
The
on.
in the gray?
Supposed to go to the members, not to everybody in the.
This is not.
These are just for the members, so I need to make sure everybody has one.
I'm keeping mine. Are you a member? Yes. Did you get one of these?
Yep, I got one.
Sure. They forgot the resolutions, so they're delaying the start. is the agenda. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got it.
Sit right here. James,
711 6th Street.
yes.
You live 610 6th Street?
Well, 16 further. 7, yeah. Just a couple blocks away.
Slow connection. Concrete room.
Did you get a
I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. First thing we're gonna do is the Pledge of Allegiance. You all stand and salute your hat. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've established that we do have a quorum. We have 110 shares, 0.65. This evening's meeting will be run by Robert's Rules of Order. There will be no public comment. There will be no shouting out, asking questions. You can ask questions on anything on the agenda, but you have to be recognized by myself as the chair. If you cannot abide by these rules, I will ask you once. If I ask you a second time to refrain from outbursts, I will have you escorted out of the building. Excuse me? Under Robert's Rules of Order. Excuse me? This is a public meeting, but you will abide by the actions of the chair. If not, you will be escorted out. Under what authority? Under Robert's Rules of Order.
Scotland or permission to speak, sir?
No.
There will be no public comment in a public meeting?
No. And we will not address any public comments.
Really? A public meeting, but you won't address any public comment?
That is against Robert's Rules of Order.
No, it's not.
So it stands to me that you want to have a meeting, but you don't want to hear from the people, you just want to dictate what you're going to dictate in those comments. Is that the way Robert's rules work? Because I've never seen it that way.
Yes, it is.
I was a Star Chapter farmer, and that is not Robert's Rules of Order.
Move on.
I'm not going to respond to any comments.
So basically, you have a closed meeting, you're just going to speak, you're not listening to anybody.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Next item of business is item D, the approval of the minutes of the annual meeting 2023. Joe?
Could you give us a couple minutes to look at that?
Sure.
I have some corrections to the minutes too. How do you want to do that?
Joel is. Joel has moved for a motion to accept the minutes from the annual meeting 2023. Do we have a second?
I have corrections to the minutes.
We're not taking the corrections.
You have to. You have to. And you have to correct. My name is in here and you have to correct what is written. Oh my God, that is so illegal. These are legal documents.
All those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented? Say aye.
All opposed?
All opposed?
No.
Motion carried.
No, it doesn't.
Financials, year-end financials, presented by Joel Moore.
Thanks, Abbott.
Everybody should have this in their packet. Beginning balance for the year was $18,311.63. Deposits below that pertain to the dues paid by the share owners, the maintenance fees, water certificates, and the capital outlay reimbursement that we received for work done, totaling $88,621.64. The expenses was for office management, a legal retainer, the safety and maintenance and repairs, the mayor normal salary, and bookkeeping fees. Total expenses were $94,186.67. So the ending balance to date is $12,446.60. We did not increase the 5% that has been done yearly on the water rights, and this year we just decided not to do that and made it through the year without doing it. Next year it'll probably have to happen again. And our Edward Jones accounts, our investment accounts, increased from $41,245.29 to $45,838.30. And that's basically it.
Do I have a motion to accept the financials?
I move that we accept the plan.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the financials as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the resolution to pass the Open Meetings Act of 2025.
So this is the Open Meetings Act that's been updated for 2025. Nothing's changed really from 2024's Open Meeting Act other than the only thing that changed statewide really was posting the agenda. Now it has to be posted within 72 hours.
Mr. Chair, I have a letter from the Attorney General that pertains to the Open Meetings Act. We need 6 shareholders and members to sign the open meetings.
I'm sorry, this is your warning. You're interrupting. This is your first
I'm
warning.
trying to be recognized by the chair.
This is your warning. We will ask you to leave if you continue to outburst.
How do we get recognized to talk?
You don't?
Yes, because he said we could, if it pertained to the agenda, we could ask questions. Yes, we did.
If you were recognized.
Yes, we did.
Sure did.
If you were recognized.
According to the
If you were
agenda
recognized, I
item.
did not recognize you.
I know, I'm asking, how do I get recognized?
We are talking about agenda item F. Is that what you'd like to be
Yes, ma'am,
recognized
I
for?
just said so.
Then that's up to the chair.
Well, I wasn't talking to you, I wasn't talking to you.
Joanne?
Yes. The Attorney General answered my complaint, and this was given to you all. And I never got a response. It said that you would respond in 2 weeks to the Attorney General, and that also you would respond to me, finally. And I never got a response.
You did respond to the Attorney General.
But I never got a response. It says at the filer as well. So, the reason that I'm asking about the Open Meetings Act, because in that letter, it states that the agenda should be given 10 days. Don't argue with me, argue with the Attorney General, 10 days before the meeting. And
Like I said, we answered this complaint from you
Months ago.
to the Attorney General. Whether he submitted it back to you, that is,
no, he said you would submit it back to
No.
me. Yes,
That
that's
wasn't the
my.
request we got.
that's not the request we got from the Attorney General.
Well, that's what's in that letter. I called them today and they said you were supposed to send it.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the Open Meetings Act in a second?
Yes.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
We need 6 members to sign it.
6 members to sign.
We need 6 members.
6 members.
How many you got?
One more.
Got that?
Yes, absolutely. You're a member.
Starts with a capital R.
Item G is a resolution to pass the ICIP for next fiscal year.
So the ICIP resolution is what allows us to apply for capital improvement money. So capital outlay and that sort of thing. And it's a requirement if we're gonna apply for ICIPs and capital outlay by the Safety Association to have them. So this one, it's Tularosa Community Ditch Corporation recognizes that the financing of public capital projects has become a major concern in New Mexico and nationally. And in times of scarce resources, it is necessary to find new financing mechanisms and maximize the use of existing resources. Systematic capital improvement planning is an effective tool for the communities to define their development needs, establish priorities, and pursue concrete actions and strategies to achieve necessary project development. This process contributes to local and regional efforts in project identification and selection in short and long-range capital planning efforts. Therefore, be it resolved, the Tularosa Community Ditch Corporation has the Tularosa Community Ditch Corporation adopts and the attached infrastructure capital improvement plan for fiscal year 26 through 30, and this plan be a working document and is the first of many steps towards improving rational long-term capital planning and budgeting for New Mexico's infrastructure. This resolution supersedes Resolution 2023-3.
I have a motion to accept the ICIP for next fiscal year.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Under old business, we don't have any old business to conduct. Under new business, procedures for updating the bylaws for 2025.
So we have to either update our bylaws or vote to keep them as they are. And that is a requirement by the Safety Association to qualify for ACDIF grants through the Safety Association. So ours, you have to do it every 15 years. And so we're past that, so we can't apply for the ACDIF money until we get our bylaws updated. So what we'll do is we've sent the bylaws we have now to the Safety Association for them to look over. And then we're gonna, if anybody has ideas for changes or add additions or anything like that, email them to the website or the email. It's on the top of the agenda. And we'll take those, we'll go through them. Anything that is goes along with state law out of the special water districts, we can entertain through meetings throughout the year, vote on those, and then vote to accept them and vote to add them to the bylaws. Hopefully have that done mid-year.
Chairman, could I ask one question?
Yes.
It's not controversial. Are those bylaws on the website?
No, we don't have a website anymore. But if you send me an email and I can get them, I will get them to you if you need them now.
Well, I just was wondering how we know what was in there.
Yeah, so if you want to email me, I'll either email them back. It's a big file, or if you give me your address, we'll mail them to you.
Oh, wow, okay. So it's a bunch of paper.
Yeah, they're big. So the original, or not the original, the bylaws that we're using now were written in 2007. With help from the Safety Association, the DA's office, and some other people. So they're pretty solid, but but they still have to be looked at for either updates or voted to accept them as they are.
Something needs, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And that's solely so we can apply for grant money through the Safety Association.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got a little change, so we're gonna move Tim Carroll down the agenda one slot and move the Mayadoma report up one slot.
So first and foremost, I want to thank all the volunteers that's participated in helping with the infrastructure on not just the ditches here that you guys all see, but along the creek. And I know you guys don't get recognized enough, but we all know how hard you work and we do appreciate you. And we notice you, and you've saved this ditch tens of thousands of dollars by your volunteer work. And everybody should be thanking those volunteers. We're gonna kind of do a little history of the ditch because I know that a lot of people have moved in the last 20 years and don't really understand how our water works. The Tularosa Ditch Corporation falls under a prior appropriations, which means before the state of New Mexico was even founded. Our water starts southeast of the Mescalero Church, the Catholic Church. We oversee all the water from Mescalero through the canyon, down, and distribute it through inside and out of the village to the farmers and the 49 blocks. A prior appropriation doctrine is used in water law that governs the allocation of water rights prior to statehood in our system, and that's our 1909 decree. As the Mayordomo, I'm appointed through the 12th Judicial Court and fall under the water judge, currently Judge Bryan. I am to deliver the water to the shareholders listed in accordance with the 1909 decree, as well as any stipulations that have been added to the decree. I, as well as these commissioners, have been working with the Otero County Sheriff's Department, the 12th Judicial District Attorney, New Mexico State Police, New Mexico State Engineer, New Mexico Acequia Association, our state representatives, and New Mexico Attorney General, and our amazing group of attorneys right here, to make sure that we're following the law and we are getting the water to distribute fairly amongst these shareholders. And those who that are taking water illegally will be fined for that. With that, not only going after people pumping out of our creek that is taking away from us illegally, but the ones that are pumping illegally out of the ditches as well, here in our community. As for the village of Tularosa, they are water users in this association, no different than each of one of you water users here. I am concerned that the information being used by the Tularosa Village Mayor and trustees in their role in the water system is strongly incomplete, but very highly inaccurate. I personally, on 3 different occasions with 2 different administrations, have tried to share information, court orders, and agreements with the village to resolve any potential discrepancies. And not one person from the village is responsive and listening. The village speaking at open meetings, posting on Facebook, as well as one-sided radio station and newspaper articles to cause unnecessary fear and anger is not only negligent, but their non-due diligence shows the insufficient knowledge to our water. There will be new water schedules coming for the 49 blocks. No longer will we be going down a lateral with water multiple times. The 49 blocks already uses more than they're actually allotted, so we're going to be more efficient, and we're going to not go down a lateral 3 different times. Farmers and 49 block water users, laterals are the responsibility of the water user, not the landowner. You do have an easement across
for your ditch, your laterals must be free and clear of any growth and debris to receive any water. Now, I know that there's laterals out there that are not currently being used, but those are protected through state law as an easement. But that doesn't mean that there is a water user on that ditch. We're gonna hope to get that new schedule out, in the next month. But if you have any questions, you can let us know.
You have a question, I don't like to ask you, because I wasn't introduced to who you are.
I am Toby Pruitt.
Mordomo.
Mayordomo.
Okay. Mayordomo, can I address you, please?
Go ahead.
I'm not a water user.
Right.
I live in the county,
Mm-hmm.
right outside the bend.
Mm-hmm.
There's ditches that run through my property. I don't use your water, I don't want your water. But your water floods my property and did $30,000 worth of damage. I didn't sue you yet, but if it happens
So
again.
this is where we're gonna stop it, because we've turned it to the attorneys, and if you're gonna make accusations, it's an attorney issue now, so this conversation is ended.
And I've already told you, you've already made that threat. I've already told you, have your lawyer contact us.
Will do. I don't want your water, you're flooding me.
You're not getting our water.
I don't want it.
You're not getting our water.
You're getting,
Alright, so I'm gonna do Tim Carroll's advisory committee report and then go right into what I was gonna talk about. Oh, yes.
Thank you. Toby, I didn't catch what you said about 49 blocks. I'm sorry, the whole thing, I live in the 49 blocks and you talked about the laterals.
Oh, she said that the laterals are the responsibility of the water user.
I know, I think she said that. What you were saying, are you gonna cut back the
Well-
laterals?
Oh.
No. I didn't say we're cutting back. What I said is we need to start using our water more efficiently. So these laterals that are running 2 days instead of one, the one lateral should run all the way down instead of re-soaking that ditch again.
So
So,
it's like my lateral.
like your lateral, exactly. That's a good example. It runs on Tuesday and on Wednesday, and that's just not efficient.
Okay, so we'll talk later, I hope. We'll have to talk about that. Right?
Yeah, we'll get you
We'll work it out with the
Yes.
rest of the people on the lateral.
yes.
And when will that be?
We're hoping in the next month that'll be out.
Huh?
We're hoping in the next month that'll be out.
That will be on,
The
the
new
new
one.
water
Right.
Mhm.
Alright, so, we have an advisory committee, that's yes,
So, in regard to what you were just saying about it being efficiency, as you're well aware, our ditch has almost always had to run for 2 days, sometimes 3.
Right.
Because everybody down on the south end or the west end pays no attention to it. When it's there, they don't use it, and so it looks bad on everybody on our lateral.
I know, and that, I know. But it'll be a new schedule, so it would probably have to run for 2 days. It definitely is gonna run for 2 days. But it's gonna run down and around and then down, and not 3 days, 2 days.
There's a matter of efficiency there that needs to be addressed where it exists.
Absolutely.
Not where I live.
Yeah, that whole lateral needs some work. From 1st to 7th, yeah.
alright, so, yeah, we have an advisory committee that's kind of been heading up a bunch of our projects, and with the volunteers, Tim Carroll and some others, they've kind of taken this on as project managers, getting these things going and making them efficient. This stuff, a lot of these projects wouldn't happen if these guys weren't working behind the scenes constant. And so, in the first project that we got done this year was early 2024, we got it complete in January. And it was a access road that we cleaned the road following the ditch down all the way to the sand trap and the lower diversions. We cut in some lanes so we could get equipment in and out easily. Then we built fencing to go around the private property that we have there at our upper diversion mainly. That was completed in February of 24. Then recently, which I think most of you are here for, is we replaced the upper diversion floodgates. There was 2 floodgates that have been damaged, and they've been damaged for years, and they've caused a lot of issues with silt buildup and downstream flooding, and controlling the quality of the flow of water that's going down. So both of those gates were recently changed out. Then upcoming, we've got some capital outlay money, and the reservoir needs cleaned out severely bad. We're looking at approximately 75,000 cubic yards of silt that needs to be removed from that. So we do have some capital outlay money. The advisory committee, they're working diligently on how exactly are we going to do it, and who are the contractors around that are even qualified to do something that big. And then the other thing that we're looking at is a lot of the diversion gates that follow the ditch on the mother ditch. They're along the highway are in bad shape. It's just the ditch is old. It's not aging gracefully. So we have to stay diligent on doing these upgrades as they come through. So that was what Tim was going to say. So next, Toby's going to hand out a little packet. We made enough for the members. If there's extras, then help yourself. So what this packet shows is the correspondence that we've had between the ditch and the village on this current project with the upper diversion gates. So 3 weeks prior to us doing the work, we had everything in place, and we sent a letter advising the village that we were going to be working on our diversions. We didn't receive anything written back from the village until about 2 days before work was started and the heavy equipment was being delivered. At that point, there was some phone calls between the village and the chairman. There was some demands and some threats made towards us that escalated where we felt attorneys needed to be involved. So we talked to our attorney, Ms. Jenkins. She talked to Mr. Rhodes. They had a lengthy conversation. At the same time, there was a scheduled meeting between us and the village. The attorneys got done with their conversation. They deemed it not necessary for us to go talk to the village. They hashed it out, and that's why we have attorneys. So the next day, we went to work. The work on the diversion, the only thing we did was replace 2 diversion gates back to the engineered design. We took 2 gates out that had been damaged for years and took them back to the engineered design. We did the work in 2 days, on Friday and Saturday, and we had the water diverted. It was never shut down. The water was diverted for about 6 hours total going into the village pipeline at the diversion.
What about the EPA fence?
We're getting there. So we diverted that water for about 6 hours, and after the work was done, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed on the water. It's actually more efficient now. We got the gates back to engineered design. We cleaned the silt out at the diversion down to the original concrete pan. So there's about 5 feet of water extra now there. Most of that water going through the diversion that sends water to the village intake. The purpose of these gates is to keep that diversion clean. So these gates were engineered so that diversion stays clean. So if we can control our gates and our diversion, we can keep the silt from building up in that diversion, which benefits everybody. It benefits the other users of the diversion, it benefits the village and everybody downstream because the water's flowing more efficiently. and it aids in flood control. So, I'd like to say that the fencing around the village intake, the fencing that is at the village intake, and you can see in the first picture, we did not touch their fence around their intake. They're sand trapped in their intake, we have not touched. Their fence is still there, their locks are still on it, and their no trespassing signs are still up. We asked 3 weeks prior that they remove a fence that was put on Tularosa Community Ditch private property without permission and was obstructing the work we needed to do and obstructing the job of the landowner. She could not get to her gates that she's responsible for. We also talked to the prior administration about removing that fence. So because they did not do it in the time that we had allotted, we removed the fence that is at our diversion on Tularosa Community Ditch private property. That fence was in trespass, we removed it, it's a non-issue. We have the fence there, and it's locked. We are not restricting access to the village employees to get down to the diversion. If they want to go to the diversion and look at it, I have a picture of village employees at the diversion with the rake cleaning it out.
Excuse me, real quick. I'm going to remind the general public, if you are recognized by the chair, you may speak, but right now, the commissioner is speaking, and this is your warning. You'll be asked to leave.
So, yes, the gate is locked, so, because we don't need the general public in there to potentially move gates, break something, cause damage. And we've restricted vehicle access to that point. That's the only thing we've restricted to that point is vehicle access. The village employees can still park and walk the 100 feet, just like the Maydoma does, to go down, and if they want to look at the point of diversion. It's our diversion that we divert into their pipeline that sends water to intake. If they want to look at that, they have a trash catcher on it. If they want to rake the leaves off of that, they have full access to do it. If they ever need to get in there to do maintenance work, we have in the back, there's a letter in here that we've sent to the village that says we will allow it. If they notify us, we'll let them in to do maintenance work. Nobody is locked out of anything. Everything else, if you want to know, is in here in these letters. Our stance is in the final letter from our attorney to the village. And I think that pretty much covers it. It's up to you. Oh, and so next up is our attorney, Ms. Jenkins.
Hello, I'm sorry, sometimes you already see me. I'm Lisa Jenkins. This is my partner, Alexis Tide. We represent the ditch. We represented the ditch for a number of years. Of course, if there's any particulars on litigation, we can't get into it, simply because, of course, that's attorney-client, and we can't divulge that. But we intend tonight to give you 2 reports on 2 litigations that the commission has hired us to handle because they're in litigation. One is a 30-year case, the Devil's case, and the other one is just a simple protest to the state engineers where briefs are due on January 15th. I'll give mine first. I'll let Alexis talk about the Devil's case. Very, very quickly, there is a protest. Previous commissioners protested water usage upstream around the Bent area. Has requested the state engineer's office to allocate that person additional / transfer rights. Previous commission and a number of shareholders protested. That is now in front of the state engineer's office. Of course, our position is that the state engineer, as the manager so rightly pointed out, the state engineer doesn't have jurisdiction. That issue has been ordered by the water judge to be briefed in full by January 15th, so we will write the brief on that issue. But that's where that stands now. There's a hearing scheduled, and if she doesn't rule in our favor and says they do, then the hearing is next November. So, you know, discovery and all of that sort of thing in between. That is that case. The reason the commissioners took this and objected is because of the fact that if somebody doesn't have water rights, to go to the state engineer and to get water rights from our ditch is going around the court order. And that just takes water away from every single user on the ditch. So every time that happens, it's been this commission, previous commissions, have always fought this type of, we call it the runaround. Oh, well, I don't have water rights, I'll just go to the state engineer. And sometimes, unfortunately, the state engineer steps in and hands out a water right. And sometimes we weren't even notified. So when we see it and we are notified, we pursue that. So, or at least up until now, as much as the ditch can afford. So that's that case. I'll let Ms. Ty talk about the Devil's case.
I see that we are the last on the agenda, so I'm going to make this as brief as possible. So this particular one has a similar point of origin. This case is currently being litigated in front of Judge Bryant as an appeal. The case number is